Hi guys, so this is a really quick, fast, easy project that you can do for a costume. They're supposed to be Vulcan ears. I do have a Star Trek uniform top that would go well with this. If you used it for that, that was its intended purpose, is Vulcan ears, but I see that they can also be elf ears or fairy ears if you are doing some costume or cosplay thing, especially because it's Halloween today, so that's when this video will be released anyway. I did these under 20 minutes. What you do to put them on is, so you insert the top of your ear in this space right here, and then you loop this around your earlobe and it stays pretty secure. And yeah, I hope you guys have fun making them. If you guys would like to check out the playlist for these patterns and tutorials, they will be linked in the description. Ian and I have a playlist, so if you would like to make these, follow along with me and I will list the materials and all the good things that you need. I'm using Big Twist. It's a acrylic medium 4-weight yarn, and this color is pale peach. So I guess you're going to want to find something that's similar to your skin tone. And I'm using a 3.5mm hook, and I have a stitch marker as well. It's a bobby pin that I got from the dollar store for $1.25. I was able to get like 100 or 200 of these, so yeah, they work really well as stitch markers. Here you need scissors and an embroidery needle. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. So this part of the pattern, until I'd say so, is for both ears. Both ears start the same way, and then we turn them depending on the side of the face that they're gonna be on. Like this is the right ear, and I'll demonstrate the right ear first, and then I'll show you how to do the left ear, which is going to be similar. We're just doing it on the opposite side. So I will show you guys that. So we're going to start with a magic ring. And to do a magic ring, it's very simple. If you know how to do a slip knot, you know how to do a magic ring the way I'm going to show you guys. So we start with a slip knot. Like that. Insert your hook into the top loop and kind of tighten it, and then chain one like that, and then we're turning everything, so we're turning it around, and I use my pointer and middle my pointer finger and my thumb to hold it, and then we do our tensioning and hold it with our other hand. And that's how I like to set up the easy magic ring. Then you're going to work 4 single crochet into the center of this slip knot magic ring. Slip knot magic ring. So we just single crochet 4. And then we're going to untwist the tail. And we could just pinch here and pull to tighten. Don't tighten it too much right now because we're going to need a little give for the next part. And we're going to put a stitch marker on the last stitch that we made to mark the beginning of the round. That ends round 1, and we have 4 single crochet. For round 2, we're going to do is a increase in the first stitch. So our first stitch is right here. So we just insert and do a single crochet, and then another single crochet into the same stitch we just worked into. So That's an increase. It's 2 single crochet into the same stitch. And we could kind of tighten that a little more by pulling the tail. And then we're going to go into the next stitch and single crochet and repeat that. So we increase in the next, and then single crochet in the next. And then we should have 6 stitches in the whole round total. For rounds 3 and 4, we're going to repeat this. So we're increasing in the next stitch, single crochet in the next, then over the next 2 stitches we're going to do a decrease. So insert, yarn over, draw through, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, draw through. We have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and draw through all 3 loops, and that's a decrease, and it'll look like this. Then in the next stitch we're going to single crochet. So we're single crocheting 1 in the next 2. So 1, and then the last stitch is right here. It's kind of tight to work this, but it's going to be the top of the ear. So it looks like this. You can kind of tighten it too when you do that. So it's going to curve like that. And we're repeating what we just did. We're going to move our stitch marker. Round 4, we're doing the same thing. Increase in the first stitch, 2 single crochet in the same stitch, that's an increase, and then single crochet in the next, decrease over the next 2 stitches, and then single crochet 1 in the next 2, and that's what, and then you'll have 6 stitches. All right, for round 5 it's going to be a repeat. We're going to repeat this around 3 times. So we're going to single crochet 1, and then in the next stitch we're going to increase 2 single crochet into the same stitch, and that's going to be what we repeat around. So we work 1 single crochet, increase in the next, 1 single crochet, increase in the next. That's round 5, and you should have 9 stitches total. For round 6, we're going to repeat this. So for round 6, we're going to work 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, increase in the next, and that's going to be what we repeat around for a total of 12. So 1 single crochet in the next 2, increase in the next, again single crochet in the next 2, increase in the next, and you should have 12 stitches total. For round 7, we're going to do this repeat. So we're going to single crochet 1 in the next 3, and then increase in the next 1 in the next 3, increase in the next 1 in the next 3, increase in the next, like that, you know. And then, yeah, increase in the next, last stitch. And for this round 7, we should have 15. For round 8, we're going to work a single crochet in the next 4. This is going to be what we repeat. This will be our last round of increasing. So then in the next stitch, we're going to increase. And we're just going to repeat that. Single crochet 1 in the next 4. Increase in the next stitch. Single crochet in the next 4. Increase in the next. And you should have 18 stitches around. For round 9, we're just going to work a single crochet in each of these 18 stitches around. So 1 in each of these stitches, which will be 18 stitches total. So just repeat. So just work that around, and I will meet back up with you guys when you're on the other end of the piece. Okay, so I worked the last single crochet right there, and I'm going to move the stitch marker. We're not going to be moving the stitch marker any longer for the time being until we start working on the right or left ear, depending on which ear you're making first. But yeah, the piece looks like this at this current time. Now what we're going to do is work in rows and leave some stitches unworked. About 11 stitches are going to be left unworked. So we're going to work 1 single crochet into the next 7 stitches. All right, this is 7 right there. So you're just going to leave the stitch marker here, and we worked 7 single crochet. That's leaving 11 stitches unworked. And when we do work into these stitches, because we're going to fold this in half eventually after we make the next part, which is a panel. We're going to have the front of these stitches that we're going to work into. So I'll show you that later, but I just want to talk about that right now. We're going to leave these unworked. For rows 11 through 14, what we're going to do is chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of these 7 stitches, leaving the stitch marker marked makes it easier to find the 7th and final stitch of the row. So that's why I had you leave it there. But it looks like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're just repeating that. We're going to chain 1, turn the work, and then single crochet across. And you'll have 7 each time you do it. And you're going to do that until you have 5 rows total for rows 11 through 14. So just repeat that, and I'll meet back up with you guys when I have my 4 rows done. Okay, so this is 4 rows complete. So this is if you kind of turn it this way, you can see that this is the first row of 7 that you did, and then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 11, 12, 13, and 14. So that way, if you kind of forget to do tally marks or count, you can kind of tell where you start. This is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And this is the standard size I made for myself. If you're making a large, like if you have a larger ear than me, which is possible because I have a small ear, you're gonna do this repeat of 1 single crochet, chain 1, and turn until, or chain 1, turn 1 single crochet in each, until you have like 1 centimeter. So until your piece is 1 centimeter from your earlobe, like under reaching your earlobe. So the bottom of your earlobe is where you're going to measure, and then you're putting this on the top of your ear. And as long as you have 1 centimeter of difference between the bottom of your earlobe and this panel, then it should fit your ear. Because the next part of the pattern, we're going to do some decreasing so that it curves to the curvature of your earlobe, like that, like that. And wow. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do next. We're doing some decreasing rounds, or we're doing some decrease rows. So for row 15, we're going to chain 1 and turn the work. We're going to repeat this twice. So we're going to single crochet, decrease over the next 2, and repeat that, single crochet, decrease over the next 2 times only. And then we're just going to single crochet into the last stitch. And you will have 5 stitches in this row for row 15. For row 16, we're going to chain 1, turn the work. We're going to work a single crochet, and then single crochet 3 together. So you insert in yarn over and draw up a loop, insert into the second yarn over and draw up a loop, and then insert into a 3rd stitch and draw up a loop. So you have 4 loops on your hook. We're going to draw through all 4, and that's a 3 together. Then we'll just single crochet into the last stitch. So it looks like this, and you have technically 1, 2, and 3 stitches in this row. Row 17, we're going to chain 1, turn the work, and then we're going to do another single crochet 3 together. So we're inserting in the first stitch into the next stitch, drawing up a loop, insert into the last stitch, yarn over and drop a loop. I didn't say that when I did the first one, but you know, yeah. And so we have 4 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and draw through 4, and that's going to equal to 1 stitch technically. So yeah, and now that ends the decreasing. We're going to move on to the next step, which we're going to set up the little part that goes under your earlobe to hold this onto your ear. So we're going to chain 7 and then slip stitch into the ear, into the inside of the ear. So we're going to chain 7, and then I'm slightly turning this counterclockwise, which is this way, and we're going to like kind of fold this over so it looks like this. We do this for both ears, so this is the setup for both ears. And we're gonna go down to the row 10 where we skip those 11 stitches. We're gonna start at this stitch that's unworked to the left of the panel that we made, and we're gonna count 6. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is the stitch we're gonna work into, and we're gonna go in through the back though. So in through the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then on this side we should have 6 also. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So either side you do the counting on, you're gonna go into the center or 6th stitch. So we're just inserting from the back, and then we're gonna yarn over and then draw up a loop, and then draw this loop that we drew up through to do a slip stitch like that. Now this is the setup, so I'm going to show you guys how to do the left and the right ear, starting with the right ear first. This is the right ear. It looks like a little shoe. So starting the right ear, we're going to have the piece facing us in this direction. When we do the left ear, it's going to be this direction. We're going to start in this direction, but since we're starting the right ear, we're doing it with it facing us this way. So we're going to start by chaining 1. So this is, we're going to work in the round. So this stitch marker, we're going to actually need this right here. We're going to place this stitch marker onto this loop that's connected, and we're going to chain 1. So actually no, we're going to take that stitch marker out and move it to the top of the chain 1 so that we have that stitch marked off when we work it. So what we're going to do is we're going to be working up the side of this piece in through the layers like this, but technically we're going to try to follow the rows, or the rounds. So this is the top of the stitches on the rounds, and I'm going to go into it and single crochet. But I want you to pay attention to the fact that you see this kind of line where it dips. That will help you identify where the next stitch is. So I'm following the line, and I know that the stitch is right here that I need to go on the side of. So I'm going to work on the side of the row of the rounds. I keep wanting to say rows. And I'm going to single crochet, and I'm going to do this 9 times. So I already have 2 that I made, and then I'm going to go to the next one. That's the 3rd one, and then up following this line. That's 4, and you're going to do this 9 times. So 5, follow the line. It helps to do that because I've done this so many times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, following the line. This is the 7th one. This is the 8th. And then the 9th one is like on the top where we did the 4 single crochets. That's like round 1 of the piece, and it's right on top, and that's where the magic ring is, right here. You can kind of see it. That's where we began our magic ring. All right, so we count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches total. And then what we're going to do is a chain 3 picot. So I'm going to chain, chain 3, slip stitch into the first chain I made, and then into the stitch that I worked the last single crochet, which is the 9th one, I'm gonna slip stitch in there. And I actually want to grab a second stitch marker and kind of mark that one because I need to know where it is for the next time I go around. Then what we're going to do is work back down to the bottom, and there should be 16 single crochet that we work in the sides of the rows, or the rounds right here, then it becomes rows. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to find this line, and you know, the line made by the rows and rounds, and I'm gonna single crochet. This part can be tricky because you can lose your stitches, so just pay attention. This is the line. I'm gonna keep saying that as I go onto the sides, but yeah, this is 2, and this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, this is hard. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That was kind of hard to get into. Kind of like, that's 14, I believe. Let me count. Yeah, 14. It's cool to count if you kind of like do what I did and mess up a little. 15. And then all right, let me take it out a little bit. I want this to be turned more. 12, 13, 14, 15, and then 16. All right, that's fine. Sorry, that's gonna keep hitting. Kind of move that right there. All right, so that's 16. Now what we're gonna do is slip stitch into each of the chain 7. So right here we have the chains that we made when we we chained and then slip stitched, so we're going to work into those. So there's going to be this like amount of space between that right here, and that's fine because we only wanted 16 single crochet. So we're gonna just kind of put our hook and reach and slip stitch, and we're gonna do that for each of the 7. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. My voice is like, hello, are you there? All right, 7. And now we have to go into the 5 skipped stitches of row 10 that we had. So this is my beginning of round. So if we pull this, we have, it's good to count too, but right here underneath where the stitch marker is kind of pointing toward, it's like this is the first skipped stitch right there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have 5. And then the stitch next to it is worked into. That's where we did the row 11 through 17. So we are going to work into those stitches, these skip stitches, and we're going to slip stitch into these 5 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th one's right here, 5. Then we're going to chain 1, turn the work, and we're going to slip stitch in the next 2. So 1 and 2. And we're leaving the last 3 slip stitches unworked. We're not going to use those at all. We're going to skip them completely. Normally we go through both loops of the stitch, and in this case we're going to be going through this front loop right here. The back loop will be left unworked, but we're going to work into the front loop of that next stitch. So we're going to yarn over to do a double crochet. Can kind of put it like that so you can see, and then insert into the front loop, yarn over and draw through 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and draw through 2, yarn over and draw through the remaining 2, and then yeah, that's the first stitch. So I'm going to put the stitch marker, well, I mean technically we don't need a stitch marker any longer because this is going to be the last thing that we do for this, so it's fine. So that's the first stitch worked, and then we're going to work another double crochet into the next another front loop double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 3 front loop double crochet in total. So that's the second one, and then this is going to be the 3rd one, and then this is what it's doing. It's giving this little notch in the ear. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work a front loop. I actually didn't need to mark this slip stitch. So you could just take that stitch marker out. I messed up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet into the front loops of the next 6 stitches. So that's 1, 2, and then that's the 6th one. And we're going to finish off by single crocheting, or we're going to finish this off by finding the second chain of this chain 3 picot, and that's the top middle stitch. Go through both loops, and we're gonna slip stitch in there. So yarn over, draw up a loop, and then draw the loop through, and that's going to kind of accentuate the tip of the ear a little bit more. And then we're gonna chain 1 and tie the yarn off. And just pull it up and then pull it tight and then sew that. So we just made a second right ear. I'm actually going to frog all of this back to the base and then show you how to do the left ear to make it easier for myself. But yeah, so that is how you do the right ear. You can kind of like pull this up a little and like get it to tilt down a little bit. But yeah, this goes on the right ear. And I'm going to show you the left ear like I just said. So I'm going to frog this and I will meet you. I mean, if you need to just rewatch to do the other base for the ear, I'm going to call that the base of the ear. But yeah, this is the point where we started at for the right ear, and we're going to do the left ear. Let's start on the left ear. This is where we left off when I just frogged everything. We're repeating what we did for the first ear, the base, and then we're going to move on to the left ear. If you need to rewatch any of this, it will be chaptered in the video description. You would be able to click each chapter or scroll down and then see the chapters marked out with like photographs. So anyways, moving on to the left ear. What we're going to do is turn our work without chaining. So I'm going to turn my work clockwise so that my working yarn is on the left side or in the back side. So if I turn it this way, my working yarn would be in the front, and I want my working yarn to be behind me. So like this, with the chains facing the left side. First, we're going to use our stitch marker to mark the first stitch of the round, and then we're going to slip stitch into these 7 chains. Ooh, that's splitting. Okay, so we're going to move on. So now what we're going to do is work up the side of the rose and the round. And on the other side we had 16, so we're going to mirror that as best possible and work 16 until we get to the top of the ear. So we're just going to insert into the sides of the stitch 1, and then make sure you're counting. I guess I'll count to myself so it's not completely, you know, distracting, but you're gonna want to have 16. So like I said before, you can follow the line of the row or round to kind of guide you to where you should put your hook. I'm gonna make sure I go back and count to make sure I have the correct amount. $16. Okay, that's 16. And then just like we did on the other side, we had a chain 3 picot between the two sides. So I'm going to chain 3 and then slip stitch into the first chain I made. Then you're going to slip stitch into the same stitch that you just chained up from. And you're going to work a single crochet into the next 9 sides of the rows. So 1, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. And that's the 9th one. Now that we've completed the 9 single crochet down the side of the rounds and reached the stitch marker, what we're going to do is turn our work slightly so that the ear's tip is facing toward us. And we're going to be slip stitching into these skipped stitches of row 10 that we didn't work into, starting with the first one. So we will be slip stitching in the front loop of the next 5. Similar to what we did, or exactly what we did in the right ear, we're going to repeat for the left ear. Okay, and that ends round 2. For round 3, we're going to chain 1, turn the work, and then we're going to be working into the back loops of the slip stitches that we just made. So these are the back loops right here. To help you identify them. So we're just inserting the hook, yarning over, and drawing this loop through both loops. And that gives it a slimmer look, because if we go through both loops, it makes it a little more bulky, and I want it to be slimmer. So we're going to do that another time, so 2 times total. We're just slip stitching. And then we're going to skip 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the next stitch in the back loop, we're going to double crochet in the back loop, double crochet. And that's going to pull the stitch down and start forming that little L that's made at the inner corner of the ear. And then what we're going to do is we're going to back loop single crochet along the next 7 toward the tip. So inserting into the back loop and just single crochet 7. Like so. And then what we're going to do is, there is a slip stitch here that we worked into, we used to anchor the chain 3 picot down. We're going to skip that and just work into the top of the chain 3, which is the second chain. So we're just going to insert into this chain, the second chain or the middle chain of the chain 3, and do a slip stitch. Then to finish off, we're chaining 1 and then we're cutting so that we can just pull this up, and it kind of gives it a little curve to the tip of the ear. So this is what it's looking like. The ear, because it's the left ear, is going to kind of curve to the left. It's kind of how you can tell. This little piece is on the left side. And then you would put this on your left ear, inserting your, gotta sew this in, but you insert your left ear, the tip of your left ear in here, and then hang this around your earlobe to get these ears to stay on. But yeah, that's it. When you sew this in, you're gonna kind of like try to sew it to the back of the tip so that it doesn't double over in a weird way. I'll show you that right now, actually. Alright, so to get this ear to stay to the left, which it does naturally anyway, I'm just going to go into the back stitches and just do that. Yeah. So here are the ears. It's a really quick last minute Halloween-y costume type project. You can make these really quickly. I think this took me less than an hour to make, and they fit over your ear by you insert your top of your ear into this part, and then you fit your earlobe over this part. And yeah, that's how they're worn. They stay put pretty well, I think. I haven't really had issue of them falling off. This is my last project for the Halloween projects that we've been doing for the 10 weeks that we're leading up to Halloween. And I had fun doing this. It was definitely a challenge completing projects on time. I felt very challenged for sure. I thank Ian for coming up with the idea of doing a crochet along, and I think it was a really nice time getting to like experiment with different projects, and doing it in such a short time span was a challenge for sure. And I thank you guys for following along and watching. Yeah.